What is a function? A function is a special type of relation in which one domain value, or the x, only has one, so that's very important, one range value, and range value generally alludes to a y. So the domain is the x-coordinate in an ordered pair, and the range is the y-coordinate in an ordered pair. So let's look at some domain range questions. So I'll kind of show you what we're looking for in the first question, and then I'll have you all pause the video so you can work on the others on your own. So our domain is all of our x values. So here we're going to have our x value here is 4. We have an x value of 3, an x value of -2, an x value of -7, and an x value of -4. So you're just going to put commas in between them. And then for range, we have now range is our y values. So we have a y value of 5, a y value of 9, a y value of -8, a y value of 7, and a y value of 9. So we are just listing them out to get familiar with what domain means and what range means. So go ahead and try the next 3 on your own. So please pause the video and work on it, and then we'll come back together and review it. Alright, so hopefully you have attempted the questions. So let's go over the next one. So domain is 1, 6, 0, 9, and 6. And range is -7, 0, 2, 6, and 6. For the next one, domain is -9, 0, -8, 3, and 7. And the range is -4, -6, 2, -7, and 5. The last one is -8, 0, 9, -3, and 0. And the range is -2. So -2, -7, -3, -3, and 0. So in this case, the x values in the domain are the first number in the ordered pair, and the range or y values are the second number in the ordered pair. So now let's look through some with a diagram. Now this mapping diagram here may look confusing at first, but I'll talk you through a couple. And we're trying to determine, is this a function? Now, if we remember, the definition of a function is each x value. So it's each x value only has one y value. So the first one, if we look at it, we have our 2 matches with our 5, our 5 matches with our 0, and our 6 matches with our 2. So we get the ordered pairs 2, 5, 5, 0, and 6, 2. So everything has their own numbers. So this is indeed a function. So yes. Now if we look at our second one, we might notice there's quite a bit more lines. So if we notice here, 1 has the x value, or I should say each y value only has one x value. So if you see here, the 1, this is our y's, by the way, this is our x's. 1 goes to 0, 5, and 9. 9 also goes to 4, and 7 goes to 4, and then 2 goes to 5. So even though 2 is only going to one number, 4 and 1, so 4 has 3 x values going to it, and 4 has 2 x values, so this is not a function. So no. So go ahead and try the next 2 on your own, and we will go over it. Alright, so hopefully you've taken some time to pause the video and go through. the last two problems. So the next one, we have 1 and 9 both pair with 8. 5 and 8 both pair with 6. And 8 also pairs with 7. So therefore, this once again is not a function. Because we have multiple y values having multiple x, or we have each, at least one y value has multiple x values. And the last one is a function because we can make our ordered pairs: 2 pairs with 4, 3 pairs with 3, and 8 pairs with 9. If the diagrams are a little confusing, feel free to write them out in ordered pairs, and you should see each y value only once. So in the case of the first and fourth question, we see 5 once, we see 0 once, and we see 2 once. In the case of number 4, we see 4 once, 3 once, and 9 once. If I were to do the one on the bottom right, I would get 1, 8, 5, 6, 8, 6, and we see 6 here twice. So that tells us, so we see 6 in the y position twice, that tells us it's not a function. And lastly, we're going to look to see if these graphs are a function. And this is where I'm going to bring up the vertical line test. We'll get a definition a little bit later in the slides. But for now, how the vertical line test works is you just draw a line, so technically you can hold your pencil vertical ways up across your paper, and if your pencil hits the graph at multiple points, then it is not a function. So in this case, if I were to draw, let's say the pink line here is my pencil, we see that the pink line passes through the graph once, twice, and 3 times. So since it passes through 3 times, it fails the vertical line test and is therefore not a function. Now this next one here, let's say I draw my pink line, or represents my pencil. It passes through the line once, so it passes vertical line test. And it therefore is a function. So go ahead and pause the video and try the next two, and then we will go over them. Alright, so hopefully you've paused the video, so let's try number 3 and number 4. So this next one, I'm going to draw my line, and once again we see it passes through once, so it is indeed a function. And for the fourth one, I pass it through, and you can choose any place on the line, it just has to be a vertical line, and I can put it through numerous places, and each one only passes my graph once. So the fourth one is also, yes, it is a function.